It's your girl, Stacy Bullock, your host of Tools for Everyday Living. And we are here again for another fantastic Friday. Another fantastic Free Your Mind Friday. And oh my goodness, we have a topic for you today. This thing has been on my heart for some time now. I had been asking God and praying and saying, Lord, please give me a way to reach a generation that seems to be lost. You know what? The answer was way too simple, but some may not agree that it is easy to do. And I will agree with that as well. But the answer is just to ask for forgiveness. Apologize to our adult children who are raising children to come up at generation after generation and experiencing these unknown factors as to why they are behaving in such a way. Well, I believe we got some answers for you today. And I say we because I got some awesome guests on here. They are wonderful parents, wonderful teachers, beautiful women, entrepreneurs. I have watched these two ladies grow right before my eyes, and I can be no more prouder of them than if I were their actual mom, who is one of my wonderful friends, Prophetess Carolyn Ayers. Hey, out there, Miss Carolyn, I'm gonna give you a shout out. But look, let's get right into this topic. Let me bring my guest on here. If they would oblige me and give me a 5-second reprieve after I bring them onto the stage, not really a stage, but onto the screen, I would be so happy. Here they are. We have Mrs. LaShawn Anderson
Hi.
and Mrs. Lakeisha Thomas. Yes, that was worthy of 2 applause. Actually, you know what happened? My finger hit it twice. But look, as we were discussing prior to coming on the air, ladies, woo, our children that are, some of them are adults. You all have children who are adults and I believe teenagers. Woo,
Mhm.
that's
Yeah.
age. My children are full-fledged adults. But I do have a grandchild who is a teenager and one who is a young child of 7 years old. And they're witnessing stuff that I know I did not have to deal with when I was growing up.
Oh,
A, a lot of bullying and
yeah.
stuff that is dragging on their self-esteem, that is
Yes.
causing them to
Mm-hmm.
not perform, I think, as best as they can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I wanted to talk about it with some people who have experience, knowledge, understanding, have gone through some stuff,
Yeah.
and now are, coming out on the other side of some things. And
Mm-hmm.
man, I know that's me coming out on on the outside, other side of some things. But what do you think about this theory of just apologize,
Mm-hmm.
say you're sorry?
Mm-hmm.
Does
Yeah.
anybody
Yeah.
can just jump right in?
Well, I'm a big advocate for apologizing. I have myself apologized to more so my two older sons, because at some point you realize, as like you said when we talked about before we came on, some things you just wasn't aware that you were like basically doing wrong. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
after you go through some things and then you start to see them maturation into who they're supposed to be and who they are becoming, um, you would realize, yeah, we might have missed something there. Like something didn't get implemented, or something wasn't said, or something wasn't done. Um, that to have them in the proper place to grow in a specific area of their life, and you're the person who's supposed to do that, to make sure they're able to do that. And when they are not doing that, you have to take responsibility that you played a part in that not happening. And I think sometimes people are not I want to say
I said, uh-oh.
oh
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I didn't cut you off. And I
uh
always say uh-oh because of a word that you use, not because anything is going on, but the word responsibility.
Yeah.
yes.
If people just get caught up in their own lives and say, you know what? Oh, well, it
It is what it
happened
is. Mm-hmm.
and it's too bad. Well, Sean, what you think about people having that
I
attitude?
think I think some of the responsibility, because it falls on because it falls on us, it makes you not want to uh, take on that responsibility because you got to first point at yourself.
So
You have to
yeah.
see yourself for whatever it was, and that's
Mm-hmm.
hard to do. So it's easier not to um, see it or don't acknowledge it in so many
Yeah.
ways. So responsibility is crucial to who we are. So if I want to take responsibility, that means that I have to look into who I am first
Yeah.
before I even see what my kids are doing. And sometimes that's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow when you're on the other side and your kids may not be doing as bad as you think, but you want them to do better, or some of them
Mm-hmm.
are doing bad. So that falls on you. So it's easier to be like, well, they're adults now, they can do what they want,
You can do what they
because then
want.
it takes the pressure off of you. But it's not true. And I always say this: never too late. I don't care how old we get. All of us need a sense of encouragement or a
Mm-hmm.
love or whatever it is. So I think that's another thing. A lot of parents, in my opinion, feel like, well, my children are grown. Why do they need me to say I'm
I'm
sorry? Or
sorry.
why do they need me? Why do they need their reinsurance? Because they never had it before. And just because they're adults, that don't mean that they're not your child. And I think we forget that sometimes. So
Right. It's we are having a little bit of technical difficulty here. I don't know what's going on with the system. We're gonna keep on rolling
we're gonna keep on
because
rolling.
this topic will not be interrupted. Okay,
Yep,
Right.
about this
we're gonna keep going.
word. And the biggest thing about, I think some people don't want to apologize, as you said, because you're like, oh, my children, why should I apologize? I've been apologizing to my adult children now, I know for sure, for the last 7 years, for different things when they
Right,
come up.
right.
When I see something, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, I
Yeah.
probably should have
Mm-hmm.
did something different
Yep.
Yeah.
as I was rearing them.
Mm-hmm.
And because what you said is so key. People want to be seen. That's what they're,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
that's what they're saying now.
Yeah.
People want to be seen. People
Yes.
want to be
Heard.
heard,
Want to be
Yeah.
um,
heard.
and know that they're loved. And most of all, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we forget as parents sometimes that our children deserve respect.
Yeah.
Yes, that's crucial.
They, right, just like we say, oh, I'm your mother, your father, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
respect me. Well,
Yeah.
they deserve the same
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
especially
If
if they're mothers and fathers. They do.
right, why are we thinking that we shouldn't respect our children? When
Right.
we apologize, in my opinion, I think we come clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
need to do that because
Yeah.
some kids think, oh, my parents are saints and they've never done
Mm-hmm.
anything. They've
Right.
been going to church all their life and been saved all their life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No
Not
mistakes. They were just
I
perfect
did nothing.
at the altar, just praying for other people. Just,
Not at all.
just stop it. Just stop.
right. And you know what? That just popped in my head because I remember being a wife of a pastor
Mhm.
before I got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
How about that? and my children having to endure this
Mm-hmm.
rigid,
Mm-hmm.
I'll say rigid lifestyle.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that was so wrong.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying I was going to allow my children to go out and party and,
Right.
smoke and drink and,
Yeah.
do things that I know will get them in trouble from my own experience.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not have to subject them to
Right.
so many things to, take away from them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be, how could I say, at that time, I was not being open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that I want to go down the litany of things that I
Right.
did, but I needed to find a place to be honest
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and show integrity. Like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, your mama is not a saint. Lakeisha, tell us, you have any experience with that?
Yeah. I think especially with my daughter, because she's a very thorough. She's very thorough in her conversation. She wants to know all the
The
details.
details. I love
Yes.
it.
But I think me and my husband try to do our best in being transparent and letting them know that we what you see right now, us being in a mature state, in a mature mindset. One, we're still maturing, even at almost 50 years old. We're still learning things and trying to do them better. But we were not at this place over 20 years ago. Um,
Hmm.
it's something like you say. I've known Christ since we were young, but I didn't always
Mm-hmm.
walk the full
Right.
thing out when it was a lot of things I party and drink and things like that. So we try to be as transparent to let them know what y'all trying to do. We
We
got
do.
it.
We
We
done.
know. And we try to give them their own space to learn, but give them some guidance in the midst of it as well. Um, because it does them no good to not be honest with them and give them the truth of what you are continuing to become, because they have to know they're going to continually be growing into who they are. So it doesn't do them any good if we're not honest with them and say
Right.
we made mistakes.
Mm.
We
Mm-hmm.
did some things we shouldn't have done.
Hmm.
Like I tell them all the time, I love all of them dearly, but I don't think me and their dad should have became parents when we did. We shouldn't have been married when we did, because it was a lot of growing that needed to be done
Hmm.
before we
Hmm.
stepped into those spaces. So
Right.
when they talk about those different things, I always try to give them the thought that it's okay to want to be a father, be a mother, wants to be married and have a mate, but make sure you're in a place where you
Mm-hmm.
are able to give freely to your mate or to your child, so you won't repeat things that we did. We
Right.
repeated some of the things we shouldn't have repeated, or didn't destroy them before we had them, and now we're trying to raise them and destroy them at the same time.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
And it's work. It
Yeah.
is.
It is work.
uh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished a new book called "Are You Present?"
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
and
good.
talking about awareness of what we're doing on a daily basis. What are we
Mm-hmm.
saying? I did a show some time ago that's called "What Are You Saying to You About You?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
And
Good.
as parents, we provide the tools for our children to begin to talk to themselves, build themselves up,
Yep.
because we're not going to be around all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
But some of us didn't have great communication skills. I will put my hand up if I can put my feet up. I will put
Yes.
them up too. I
Yes.
have, learned over these last, I'm gonna say probably 10 years,
Yeah.
how to effectively communicate.
Communicate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's difference in
That's
communicating
crucial.
styles,
Yes. Yes.
and it has to be effective.
Yeah.
LaShawn, I look up to you, whether you know it or not. I look up to you as a teacher. When I watch you all interacting with your families, But tell us about your communication style with God.
Yeah, I want to double back on what you said earlier of like for us, not allowing your kids to do certain things because you were in the church, because we came up that way. That
Mhm.
was us. We was not the kids out there that was able to wear pants. We wore skirts. I tell everybody when culottes came out, baby, I was the thing. You understand me? 'Cause well, look, hey, coming out right, Keisha. Look,
Yeah,
we didn't get to know Penn State until we was well older. So hey,
yeah.
I understand. But what I want to say is that children are very resilient. So if we communicate and let them know why we are doing
Yeah.
certain things, I think they'll
Mhm.
understand more.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we came up, it was do as I say, not as I do type of attitude. But if you explain to them and talk to them about what why are we doing this and what we're doing, and what I'm learning now, and
Mhm.
especially from a biblical perspective, is that kids today are following Christ, if you will, but they're only following it because their parents are. They don't know him for
Mhm.
himself. And
Yeah.
that's what that struck. And that's that because you're doing what I say and not as I do. You know what
That's
I'm
it.
saying?
Right.
But if you communicate with them and let them know why we're doing this and then who we're
Mm-hmm.
doing it for, I
Yeah.
think kids will understand. I sat down and talked to a group of kids one day, and this came from a place where the girls were only allowed to wear skirts. And that wasn't a topic, that just was a topic that came up. And what was interesting to me is that out of all the things they talked about, that was the thing they brought up. And they didn't have a problem with it. They didn't care that they had to wear skirts only. They didn't, what their problem was is that their parents never listened to them on their concerns, because what they felt like in high school, that brought them more attention. Them having skirts on all the time, the kids noticed. So they was like, they don't understand that that's more attention on us,
Okay.
especially from boys. Why are y'all all wearing these skirts? Was it, these are some skirts you wearing. Everything was about skirts, and that was more of a struggle for them than them having to wear it. They didn't care about wearing it. The parents didn't. They just didn't wasn't able to express to their parents that we're getting a lot of attention because of these skirts, and y'all don't know that. A lot more
Yeah.
than what we probably should have been getting.
Super good.
I think that's that miscommunication of, if you want them to do a certain thing, let them know why, but also find out what's happening in their time and what their struggles may be in doing so. And I
Yeah.
think as parents, that's the mark we're missing. We're missing that communication gap on our time versus their time, because like you said in the beginning, it's totally different. They're
Mm-hmm.
more exposed, they're more aware, which is scary in
Mhm.
some ways. They're more aware, so you
Yeah.
have to really find out what's happening. It's not like
Mm-hmm.
when we was growing up. And make sure that it's relatable in what you're doing, or give them the strength or the understanding of why it's okay, or now I know that you're going through this, how can we kind of figure out what's the best way to go from
That's
here.
what.
And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's what as parents is kind of, we're lacking in
Yeah.
that a lot, especially
Yeah.
Mhm.
during this time.
That was awesome. That
Mm-hmm.
was awesome what you just said. Because as parents, we must listen.
Gotta listen.
I
It's
believe my granddaughter just recently told my daughter, her mom, that you don't listen to me.
mhm,
Hmm.
You don't hear what I have to say. You are basically, you got your own thought pattern
Mm-hmm.
of how you were either one raised or what happened to you in school, but that's not the times now. Things
right
are different. And
Yeah.
we really need to not just listen, but we need to hear.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
We need to delve into having conversations and having communication that, like I said a few minutes ago, is effective.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I found out that yelling is some households' form of
More
communication,
patient.
but
Yeah.
it is not a good way to
It's not.
communicate. Yelling is associated with aggression and
Mhm.
anger.
Mm-hmm.
And it breeds that emotion of anger, and then the aggression is the
Yes.
behavior that we are seeing.
Yeah.
You
And I'm a yeller.
the question I was
Yeah.
asking,
I am. I am as
you
well.
know, I had to stop yelling, but you know what? I didn't stop
Wait a minute.
yelling until my children were adults.
Mm.
That was one of the things that I had to go back and apologize for and say,
Mm,
"Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
yelling." what did it accomplish?
Yeah.
What did it put in them? You know, because now as an adult, I literally have to cognitively think and calm myself down when I hear other people yelling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it triggers me to like, you know, I'm like, is that what I was doing to my children?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yelling. Please stop yelling.
Yeah.
Yeah. My daughter always, she like, why are you yelling?
Yeah,
And
that's
like,
my
okay,
youngest, my
you know what?
youngest son. He be like,
So now I got to give her a reason. So because I give her a reason, but then I have to, okay, reel it in, bring it
yeah,
on back.
yeah. My last two, they don't take
They don't,
take
yeah,
too,
my
they don't
boys
take
didn't like
too
to
well
yell.
to yelling, especially my youngest son. He yelling is, and we did it with my older two, and they kind of, I guess they just took it, and it may have caused some damage with them. But my two youngest ones, they're like, okay, ma, why you yelling at us? And like Sean said, you give them the explanation why you're yelling, but at the same time, they're really not listening to you.
Because yeah,
Especially my youngest one, he hears you, but he's so focused on trying to figure out why you're yelling that he's not really
Mhm.
listening
mhm,
to what you're trying to get him to do.
yeah,
So I
Mhm.
have to, like you say, I have to reel myself back in and get to a place of where he's listening to me,
yeah.
so he can
Mhm.
listen to the command that I am giving to him. Because the yelling, it just takes him way out.
They just hear it. They hear the yelling and they're like, oh, the parents are going crazy again. Okay,
Yeah,
whatever. They
it's
don't hear no instructions. They didn't get any of that. They just got,
all they hear
okay,
is they just know you yelling and trying to
oh,
figure out
well,
what is
yep,
going on.
here
And
goes
Right.
crazy mom again. It's just,
Exactly. Like, here we go. Look.
yeah,
okay,
Here,
whatever.
here she go. You know,
Yep,
here she go.
yeah,
And not focusing on how they feel.
yeah,
feel, yes.
You
Mhm,
know, and it's important for us to really pay attention to
mhm,
their feelings.
yeah.
yes.
They have feelings. I used to, my poor son, I need to call him today and apologize again because
Oh, Lord.
he's down. But I remember way too many times of me saying to him, "You don't have no friends. I'm your friend." And then on the flip side, "I'm not your friend. I'm your mother." You know, wait a minute, she just
Like,
don't
oh,
she
this
don't
lady
know
crazy.
who she is. You know, but
Yeah, no, she the friend of the mother. What's going on?
right. And the
Oh,
biggest thing that it brought about, and it brought it about in me, was shutting down.
mhm,
Yeah,
I don't know when you all talked about there's nothing else heard after the yelling because
mhm,
everything is shut down. There's a
yep,
wall up. I'm
yep.
not hearing you no
yep,
more. And then they actually have a technical term for this, and it's called uh, emotional freezing.
mhm,
Mm,
So
okay.
imagine what that does to somebody when they're emotionally frozen,
Hmm.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
that is.
stuck,
Yeah.
can't move, you
Mhm,
know, later on in life, feeling like I'm just disconnected from everybody and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that, now we're dealing with again, I'm not heard, I'm not seen,
Yeah.
nobody's paying attention to me. So, guess what? Since nobody's paying attention to me, unfortunately, the mindset could possibly go over to, well, why am I even here?
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah.
If nobody's hearing me and nobody's seeing me, man, that shut down thing is a monster. Let me tell you.
And then I also learned, and hopefully nobody don't come at me because I've heard this from a real therapist. What I've also heard from a therapist that ADHD and ADD is actually a brain protection mechanism. So what happens is if you high volume environment where it's a lot of stress, your
Mhm.
brain automatically puts on this chemical reaction to protect it so you don't focus on what's going on.
What's going
It
on?
takes
Wow.
you somewhere else. So that
Mhm.
not be able to focus is because your brain is protecting you actually from everything that's around you, and it makes you do other things and focus on something else. And I was like, oh my God, that makes sense. So a lot of that the kids having that is from the environment they're in, and it just switches their brain. It switches them on to a place where they can tune out all of that and then do other stuff. It's a
Yeah.
protection. And I was
It's
just like, man, this is crazy, because so
that
many you hear about it, and then you start thinking about, okay, what's happening in the home and how we are responding to them, and are we listening to them, or are we yelling a lot, are we talking,
Yeah.
So it's a lot of things that's in the home that's happening, but we're, as adults and parents, are not taking notice to it, and the kids are from it. And I
mm-hmm.
thought that was so cool to hear and interesting, It's
Absolutely, that deserves a
it's scary.
and you're absolutely right. I am not a psychologist. I do have a degree in psychology.
Mm,
The sensory,
Mhm.
yeah.
the sensory mode goes into protection
Yeah.
mode, like
Yeah.
you said.
Mhm.
And it's like, okay, it's almost like when they tell you, if you see a bear, don't move.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you feel danger,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
don't move. So
Yeah.
here we have someone who has shut down because of the feeling of danger,
Mhm.
that thing that comes up that we have a flight, fight, or freeze.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that freeze is that emotional numbing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
but it carries over into other areas of life where we're supposed to be happy and
Yes.
joyful about certain things.
Yes.
We're still walking around in an emotional
Yeah.
freeze.
Yes.
And I think our men do that a lot. Our boys and
Yeah.
our men, because we
A
already tell them
lot.
they can't have emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
then now they start just shutting down everything. So even when there's good things happening, are your wife is trying to pull things out of you. You don't even know how, because you've
Yeah.
been told, but don't show no emotions.
Yeah.
Don't be doing all that.
Well,
So
boys don't cry. I
Yeah.
advocate all the time now with little boys and young men that I come in contact with. If you want to cry,
Cry.
cry,
Mm-hmm.
please,
Yeah.
you are human. I mean, we
cry.
done made them out to be just
Yeah.
inhuman
Yeah.
individuals. They
And they're
human.
holding in
They
all
have
those
pain.
emotions and
They
being
feel. They have
angry.
emotions.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
wonder why they treat their spouses or
Right.
So,
girlfriends the way
yeah.
they do. They don't talk or they don't,
Right.
No.
No
because it
sensory.
overload,
Yes.
and especially for a wife, now we're talking to wives out there, not just parents, but wives.
Yeah.
Your
Mm-hmm.
man come home from work, do not,
Yeah.
do not jump right in.
No,
Oh.
because we be just like, yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Just be quiet. Just be
Yeah.
quiet.
Ooh,
I
Let the
need to
man
check like, come on.
digress. Like goodness
Just
gracious. Yeah.
give him a
you
moment.
getting on
Give
my
him a
nerves. You
moment.
know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yes.
Right,
Quiet.
right. Give them a moment to
Yeah.
come in and now, get into this different atmosphere
Yeah.
than they were in when they were outside the door.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember my ex telling me one time, he said, "You have no idea what him as a black man, especially, has to deal with when
Yeah.
he
Right.
walks out that door."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can put that with not just the African American man, but what about the man who feels like he doesn't have enough education?
Yeah.
Right.
What about the man who
All of
feels like he doesn't make enough money?
Money.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
been told all his life, don't cry,
Yeah.
suppress your feelings. Not,
Mm-hmm.
nobody came out and actually said suppress your feelings, but that's what
Right.
we said. That's what we
Yeah.
say
Yes.
when we tell
Yeah.
people
Pen up, man.
Yeah.
not to show your emotions.
Emotions. Yeah.
And then we wonder why some don't have control over their emotions.
Well, you
No.
think
And, right. When they come out, they're like,
all
"Oh,
at once. They didn't even know it was that. Sometimes I don't know what's going on.
Going on. Yeah.
and that's why I wanted to talk about this topic, because stuff is happening that people we're not even aware
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
as to why we react a certain way. These words, and also in that show where I talked about what are you saying to you about you, we talked about that statement of sticks and stones may break my bones, but words
Yeah.
will never
Go
hurt
back
me.
to.
Yeah.
That's
So
a lie.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lie.
It's a lie.
So not true.
A lie. Yes.
Yeah. So not true.
You said it twice. That's mean it's for real. That's a lie.
Well, yes. Because
Yeah.
them words stay here. That
Yeah.
ring, them
Right.
words
And they
is going here
replay
to here.
over and over
I mean,
and over again.
I
Yeah.
didn't heal, then I forgot about I got hit. But them words, oh,
Yeah. You hear
it's
that
And
stuff over and over again.
you
right.
start
And
to
they
telling
go
yourself
into
that.
your heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And,
scary.
and we all know that it's the heart that is the center of
Yeah.
your life.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
that's the replay.
the core of who you are
Yep.
is being told to shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It is.
And that's what when my kids got to the age of going to college and stuff like that, I made a huge mistake with my daughter. She got a full scholarship to a university, pre-med, didn't even have to take the MCAT, none of
Wow.
that.
Okay.
Dropped out second semester.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
As a mother, I'm like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
You had a free ride. I mean, 4 years free ride. The second part probably, maybe had been some things put in places for scholarships and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I didn't want to be a doctor. You
Oh.
wanted me to be a doctor.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So she only went to that program because when the letter came and she was accepted, mom was so excited that she
Yeah.
figured, oh, I just better get on board. Let me stifle my own
Right.
emotions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm.
So be careful out there, parents. Some of your
Yeah.
children may not want to be doctors or
Yeah.
Right.
lawyers.
Yeah.
So when my son got to that point, I said, son, it's up to you because he's a phenomenal artist.
Okay.
And his brain is wired like his mama's actually. You can't pigeonhole me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of people cannot be actually no human being should be pigeonholed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God want us to be free. He said, where the presence of the Lord is, there is liberty. There's
Liberty.
liberty.
Yes.
There's freedom. And we
Mhm.
have to be free to be who we are
Yeah.
because we'll get into jobs to say, I don't like coming here every day. That's why
Right.
I admire
I don't want to do this
you
every day.
so much.
Right.
Let's keep rolling with this. So we're gonna get into entrepreneur stuff in a second. But as this thing called overparenting came up in my study,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Mm.
Uh-oh.
and that is huge. That was me for sure. My poor children, 17, 18 years old, didn't even know how to go to the ATM machine.
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That drives me crazy too.
Over parenting,
Yeah.
Mhm.
doing everything for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or with them all the time. Like
Yeah.
trust them. Let them know that you trust them.
Like
Give
they got to learn how to grow on their own.
Mm.
and say, I am trusting you. Now, if you
Yes.
take that away, then I'm back with
There you go.
But
But you got to start somewhere and let them.
I helped a 17-year-old boy mail off his package in the post office, because he had no clue. He holding the box and looking around. Just what I'm like, you don't know what to do? You're here in here. He didn't have a clue. I'm like, you 17 years old. Like, what? How you don't know how to mail off a package?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know.
'Cause
That's a hard when you have to refrain, because you want everything done.
Yeah.
Especially a little bit of control parents. You
Yeah.
want everything done the right way. But
Right.
if you don't,
But you got to let them learn. If they don't learn,
yeah,
how can they grow and become adults?
they're gonna be bad adults.
That could survive in the world alone. Because, like you said earlier, Miss Stacy, we won't be here forever,
No.
and they got to know how to function in this world without us. Like, I mean, you have to know. Like I told my 10-year-old, I was like, you better get ready because you about to start washing your own clothes. He like, wash my own clothes? What? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Everybody, once y'all get going in middle school, I don't wash clothes no more.
No.
You know, like it's things they need to know. Like they have to know how to function on their own. Like,
Yeah.
But like you say, and I might still have a little bit of I need to let go of too. But like you say, we have to be careful about that over parenting because it stifles them in a bad way.
It does. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna give you a couple examples of what it does. So what happens is it causes difficulty in making decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It,
yes.
it,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
causes them to seek constant validation
Oh
from
my God. Yep.
somebody else.
Yeah.
They struggle with failure. What do you mean
Mhm.
I didn't get that right?
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah.
now, I've seen some people who lose at sports, and woo, you talking about a bad loser.
Right.
That's
Can't take.
that's
Yep.
what I'm imagining when there's some
Mhm.
failure. You all know as entrepreneurs, everything is not going to be
Right.
the way we want it to be. It's not going to go that way. But
It's not gonna go that way.
we have to know how to deal with it. And if we
Exactly.
control everything,
Yeah.
they won't know how to deal with failure.
Exactly.
And you have to let them fail and
Yep.
support them through their failure. And
Do
I
they
think we
tell you
want to help them so they won't fail, so they don't know what that feels
what that
like. But
feels like?
that's hurting them. You
But
have to
that's
help
not
them
real
through
life.
their because it's not reality. You're gonna fail.
Mm-mm.
You're gonna struggle. I mean, this is real world out there, and the world ain't nice at all. I'm really being nice. They
Yeah.
coming heavy at you all the
Right.
way. They don't care
All
nothing
the
about
way.
you. So you just have to help them through the failure, but you
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
can't not allow them to fail.
Not allow
I
them to
think that's
fail. Yeah.
a bad place to
And
put them in.
and as a parent, none of us want our children to feel
No.
pain.
Yeah.
However, I learned that, when they become adults, there's some pain you can't stop from happening.
Nope.
Exactly.
And even as young people, when they start dating and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I remember being 15 years old and this young man broke up with me. I thought the whole world come to an end. You could not tell me that
Right.
I was ever going to be in love again
Yeah. Oh
because
my
I
God.
did not know how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad, and now I can see why, some men, some women as well are not good partners
Yeah.
when things
Mm-hmm.
go wrong
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
because they have been, thinking everything should be perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
reality TV show don't help
No.
Mm-hmm.
because
Especially
that's
if
not
parents always
reality.
making it perfect. I'm gonna take care of it for you. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it for you. Don't worry about it. No. Figure out,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what's your plan to get out of this? What are you gonna do?
Yep.
Hmm.
You gotta figure it out. I'm here to support you through it.
Fortune.
I'm here
Yeah.
to advise you. Okay, well, think about it this way, but you have to come up with a plan or something to get yourself
Get
through it.
yourself. Yeah.
Because not, how are you going to get through life?
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
How are you
And
going to get through life?
I'm glad you brought that up because as our children get older, parenting changes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the hard part. That's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard.
You can't see them as little boys and little girls
Yeah,
anymore because
it's
we look
hard.
at mm-hmm,
It
mm-hmm.
is hard.
And I even had to do it. I believe my daughter was probably in her either one late 20s or early 30s, and I still want to run the show.
Hmm.
You I still want to bark orders. And I was in the military for 18 years, and that's another thing for those who served in the military. Be careful when you get out, because I say the military was a curse and a blessing because it told you where to eat, it told you where to live, it told you what to
Yeah.
wear, it told you
Yeah.
where you were going to go, what time you had to be there,
Yeah.
and then when you get out,
What's next?
those voices stop. And you're like, I don't know what to do now,
Yeah.
It's especially like some people who live on base,
Yeah.
they get out and
Yeah.
pay rent. What do you
Yeah, you
mean?
got to figure it out. Yeah.
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 Where?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, wait a minute, I gotta get my own electricity turned on.
Yeah. Uh-huh. You can't just leave your plates at the
These
table. I'm like, you got
sensitive.
to actually pick your plates up and go wash them now. Wash the plates.
Exactly.
And
You
mine, I'm
know,
like, sir, we're not on there. Let's take care of this because this.
Like.
Like, come
Yeah.
on now.
and
Like,
we also,
yeah, this is
I had to be careful when I went home. I had a at the time it was a boyfriend, and he would tell me. He said, "Stacy, when you get home, you're not Sergeant so and so no more." Like, oh, okay, that still resonates with me today. And I've been out of the military 2 Mondays ago. I've been out 22 years now. So yeah, but that had to be, that was an eye opener for me, and
Mhm.
to try to help somebody else with it. But we got some coping skills that can help. That we have to. Anybody practice mindfulness? And of what I'm going to give you example that I heard on when Oprah Winfrey used to have Super Soul Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
She had Eckhart Tolle on there, and he has this wonderful book and many books outside of this one, but it's called The Power of Now.
Mhm.
And it helped me out so much because he said something so simple. He said, when you're in the shower, be in the shower. Don't
Mhm.
be in next week. You know, pay attention to the soap, the fragrance, and um, LaShawn has a wonderful line
Oh,
of
thank
uh, bath products and skin products that
Mm-hmm.
I love. I haven't bought a bar of soap from the store in at least 4 years because of
you.
you.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much.
you're welcome. You're welcome. Miss Lakeisha has a wonderful. I think you might have a couple of businesses, uh, and you too. You both might have a couple of businesses. Gotta be moms. Um, Sean, Sean T. Wardrobe.
Yes.
I should have worn something today. I wore something last time when you were on the show, but I didn't today. I don't know why. But they're wonderful. But be in the shower when you're in the shower. This
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
mindfulness. Just
Mhm.
pay attention. And that's a part, that's why I wrote the book. Are you present?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To help us become aware at every moment. I have this, matter of fact, somebody gave this to me as a gift, but they gave it to me as a gift because it's my motto. And my motto is, I don't know if you can see that, but it says, always be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Always
yeah.
be.
Yes.
Yes.
And what I mean by that is, in every situation you find yourself in, make sure that you're being the best
Yeah.
person
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can be at that moment. We're
Mm-hmm.
not perfect. We're
Nope.
not perfect. But I want us to get away from some bad behaviors. And one
Yes.
of we brought up earlier today was, stop crying before I give you something to cry for.
Mm-hmm.
I just told you to shut down all your emotions.
Yeah.
What do we think happens when we shut down our emotions?
Mhm. I mean, man,
Well,
you're silent. You're silent on everything. Who you are, your awareness, your emotions. Your ideas. You're shutting down yourself
mm-hmm.
completely, which is a scary place to be.
That is bad because you may allow yourself to create narratives that aren't true
Yeah. Or
because
allow somebody else to create narrative for you,
exactly
which is also
because
scary.
there's no dialect being given to one another to say this is what it is or what it's not. So
Hmm.
that it leaves an empty space for negative narratives or untrue narratives to be created.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
Right.
you have to allow them. You should be one, like we were saying earlier. We should be listening, and we should be offering
Hmm.
some type of criticism or whatever it may be in that moment
Yeah.
to give them feedback on what they're saying. But it has to be some dialect given between the two, some communication.
And reassuring. I think
Oh yes,
reassuring your kids is
yes,
crucial.
Mhm.
yes,
That's
yes,
we have a thing we call the idea box. So when we don't like the idea, we always say we're gonna put that in the idea box, and we'll come back and visit it. We say that
yes,
all the
we
time. They'll be like,
do.
"Mom, that's the idea box." So we make it fun, but it's like a good way of saying, "No, that
Mm,
we're not doing that." But you have to, just reassure them that, "Oh, this is a good idea, but this one, we're gonna go ahead and throw that one in the idea box.
yeah,
We'll come back and revisit it."
yeah.
better later. But reassurance,
Wow.
especially for young kids, I think adults too, letting them know that you are on the right path. You didn't take the
Yeah,
path I want, but you are moving in the right
in the
direction.
right path.
Giving them that sense of
Yeah.
assurance, it helps them in adulthood.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
just keep the lines of communication open. My oldest two, we still do it from time to time. With my youngest two, we had family talk. And what that basically was, and we don't always have to initiate it. The kids can initiate it and say, can we have family talk today? Because they have a gripe about something that was said or done that they need to express themselves, to
My
say.
daughter does that.
Um,
Hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that is their time to say, well, mom, you said this or this, or you did this and it hurt my feelings. Like you said, Miss Stacy, sometimes we feel like our kids don't have feelings, and they actually do. They have feelings. And we as parents, just because we've done something some one way so long, we feel like that's the
Mm.
end all be all of something. And it's
Hmm.
really not. It's not really the
But
end all be all of a situation. So we should be open to hear something from them that may kind of change our perspective on seeing things and come to a commonality as a family or as a sibling, I mean a child and a parent, to say, okay, we're gonna work through this together.
yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely. When we apologize to people, especially our children, it shows the strength of our character.
it
Yes,
does.
it does.
Hmm.
And we want them to have great character. We want them to go through life and, reports come back. You hear somebody maybe, might be in the grocery store and you hear somebody
Hmm.
talking about your child as an adult doing whatever they're doing. Like that was a wonderful encounter that I had with this individual.
Hmm.
You know
Yeah,
how proud my heart would just be.
Yeah.
Woo!
yeah.
I remember being in the beauty salon one time. In the front of the beauty salon was a barbershop, and there was a young man in there, and they were mentoring him. The guys were mentoring the young man. He had gotten into some trouble, and he said, I know who you are because I know your daughter. Your daughter's a good girl. And that's when she was in high school. She probably didn't want to hear nobody saying she was a good girl. But I was ecstatic as a
Yeah,
mom,
yeah,
like, wow, I did something right.
Hmm. Yeah.
yeah.
you
Uh,
know,
Mhm.
yeah.
and
Yeah.
hopefully it wasn't from sheer fear of her mom.
All right. So you scared to death, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, yes. My mama, you might not want to mess with my mama, you know. And I wanna bring up. I can't do this without bringing up the word of God. And in Ephesians in 6:4, it says, "Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger
Yeah.
Yes.
by the way you treat them.
Mm-hmm.
Rather, bring them up with the discipline and instruction that comes from the Lord."
Yes.
And I don't know about you all, but I have been disciplined by the Lord many times.
Oh yeah.
And
Many
it
times.
and
Oh
it
yeah.
wasn't harsh. It didn't make me feel like I was no good. Didn't
Exactly.
make me feel like I was unloved. Actually, it made me feel like I was really loved
Mm-hmm.
because someone took the time to just,
Hmm.
not someone, but God took the time to recognize me and help
Mm-hmm.
me
Hmm.
Yeah.
through situations and
Yeah.
say, you
Yeah.
can do better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can do better. You can be better. And I don't want anybody to think, oh, because you read the word fathers, that it doesn't pertain to mothers.
Mhm.
Right.
It
Exactly.
pertains to the
Yes. Yes.
individual who is in the leadership role in the household.
Yeah.
So it doesn't just specifically mean male.
Yes.
Um, we want them to respect us. We want them to live by the word that says, children, respect your mother and father so that your days will be long.
Mm-hmm.
We want that, but we also need to go on that flip side and say, yeah, but you can't talk crazy to your children
Right.
either.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
We can't continually tell them, things that are hurtful, like
Mm-hmm.
don't speak up, don't,
Mm-hmm.
don't express your feelings. Give them. I appreciate you all so much for saying, you give your children the opportunity to say what they do and don't like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
They're human beings, they're human.
Mm-hmm.
right, right,
Yeah.
And
and
you can tell them that I teach mine to do it in respect.
Yeah.
So
yes,
you do it
Exactly.
with respect. You say your point, and if I don't want to listen, that's when I come in. But as long as you're being respectful and they're
Yeah.
understanding that I am still respectful to you, but you're making me feel uncomfortable, or I don't like the way you're talking to me. And then if they don't understand, that I got you. I'm Mama Bear number one. Don't worry about it. I got your back.
Mhm.
But
Exactly.
I don't ever want them to feel like they have to suppress everything, because you know how we tell our children that they're adults, so you don't talk back to adults. Well,
Yeah.
some adults be doing the most, so we're gonna go ahead
Mm-hmm.
and not. That's
Yeah.
not going to be with all adults. So if you have to, you just make sure you're respectful. You make sure
Exactly.
that you're coming from a place of for them to hear who you are and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this, but you made me feel this way or something." And then
Mm-hmm.
if not, then I got your back on it. But
Yeah.
I think we suppress our kids so much, where they just feel like they have no room to express themselves, and then adults can come in and just tell them anything and treat them
Mm-hmm.
any kind of way. And
Kind of way.
I don't like that. That's not a good place for children to be in. And that's why a lot of things I think don't get said from children when things are
mhm,
happening to them, when they should be speaking up and they don't.
Yeah.
Who am I going to tell? Y'all all adults, and none of y'all
right,
are listening. you
Yeah.
know?
right,
Yeah.
right. I was just getting ready to say that we subject them to things that they should not be subjected to.
Yeah.
I used to
Exactly.
tell my kids all the time when they were in school, look, I don't have a problem going up to the school. They already know. They
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
sometimes have expressed, you might not want my mama to come up here.
Yeah.
But
Right.
not that I wasn't going in a yelling mode. I was
Yeah.
going in my educated uh, mode and
Mm-hmm.
using words that they probably didn't understand. But by the time I left,
Yeah.
they knew
They would
that they
understand.
had done something
Yeah.
wrong. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But I would always say that I can't defend you if
Mhm.
you're being disrespectful.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
yeah, and so they've learned to be respectful.
Mhm.
And another thing that allowing them to calmly express themselves. Now, when we all hyped up, we all might have to go sit in the corner
Right. Right.
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
calm down. Like you said, we're gonna put this in the box and we're gonna come back to it.
Don't
Yeah.
revisit. Mhm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, should I say, when we do that and we all have this calm conversation, what it does is it allows them to learn empathy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is so
Yeah.
missing
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
in in today's world. Nobody wants to
Mm-hmm.
Nobody.
acknowledge that, I've been through some stuff too.
Yeah.
And I see my sister or my brother going through some stuff. And I have to have empathy for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that comes with a lack of accountability. I think our parents do not allow our kids to be accountable
mm,
for their actions. We want to take it, and it could be coming from our era where we got it hard. Like you punish, you this, you everybody punishing you, you whippings, And so now our generation so easy that we just want to protect our kids and we don't want to punish them, and we don't. So there is no accountability. So
mm,
if you don't hold them accountable, and they have to recognize their actions and what they've done, how they gonna have empathy for somebody else?
Yeah.
You make me have empathy for myself. Like you just took care of it, and I can do what I want. There's no
mm,
empathy and there's no accountability. It's just I can
right.
do whatever I want. Who's gonna tell me something? My mom gonna take care of it. My daddy got my back. Whatever. There's no
Yeah.
no apologizing happening. No communication happening.
Yeah.
It's nothing there to say I'm sorry. It's just they're not even building up empathy because they're not even taking on the responsibility of what they've done.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
think
just a
that's a
scary
big
place to see them in.
one. I think that's one of the big issues that's happening with the school system.
Yes.
Mm,
I think
I'm that mama be like, come on, you did
yeah,
something, you gonna face it. Like
yeah,
you gonna face this and you gonna stand here and say, I'm sorry, because I need you to know this is not how we act. And it's not
exactly.
and you're gonna take responsibility for this. But
Yeah.
mm,
there's so many parents today, man.
It's not. It's
Everybody
not.
else
It's
doing it.
okay.
I
It's okay.
hate parents.
It's, yeah, it's okay to go and be Mama Bear, but at the same time, you have to give them the space to know they have to be accountable for their actions. And then if we're gonna go there and handle it, then we got to show them the respectful way to handle it,
Right.
so that
Mhm.
if this arises again, they'll know how to address it without
Right.
it turning into a big old chaotic, situation. But
Right.
because that's not happening, it's chaotic on both sides with the instructor, teachers, and the students and the parents. It's like a big ball of confusion.
Yeah.
Mm.
Or even outside. We just had a parent yesterday in one of my daughter's organization, and got in trouble, but mom got mad at us. And so she's like, well, all the other kids are doing it. But no, real son did something wrong. So you can't just look and say everybody else is doing it, because what did you say your son? You got him by the hand. So he looking like, well, if everybody else doing it, why am I in trouble? And
Yeah.
that wasn't the case. Instead of holding him accountable to, I don't care what nobody doing, because that's what I tell mine. What's your
Yep.
instructions? You hold on
Yeah.
to your instructions. All the rest of this, I don't
All the
care.
rest, it ain't got nothing to
Like
do
we
with
had,
you.
it was like
Yeah.
everybody else is doing it, so why is he? What? In
Well,
front of him too.
Mm.
she was a prime example of
Hmm.
what not to do.
Yep.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
was, probably one of those parents who want to be a child's friend,
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
nothing wrong with being friendly with your child,
Right.
Exactly.
but I am not your friend.
Mm-mm. It gotta
Now,
be
now
others.
that my daughter is 40, I can be more of her friend. Oh,
Yes.
Mhm.
she gonna watch this and say, "Mom, wait, tell my age." But, but I just told yours. I just told mine too. But oh my goodness, ladies, this conversation has been absolutely wonderful. And time that went by. Y'all know we've been on here for an hour. And we're going to wrap it up, but I need you all to please tell the people how they can contact you all, a little about your business. And yeah, Lakeisha.
I am Lakeisha Thomas, and I'm known to some people as Lachey's, where I work with my sister, who you guys see. We work together, y'all, and we celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year. We so excited. And that's just basically us catering to women through ministry, through business, entrepreneurship, health. We try to talk about different things, and that we as women deal with at these events every year. Um, and as Miss Stacy said, I also have Shanti's Wardrobe, where we're giving you all the sophisticated comfort. And you guys can follow me on all the social media platforms at Lady Lachey's or Shanti's Wardrobe. That's me.
All right, LaShawn.
Yes, I'm LaShawn. As Stacey said before, I have an all natural bath and body product company. You can go to mybodybath.com to find all my products. Believe I am on all social medias under Creations Essentials, Natural Body, or C.Essentials. You can find me on TikTok mostly, but I am on Instagram as well. But if not, you can always visit the website at mybodybath.com.
Yes. I think I need to go over to both websites.
We got a sale still going on. It's almost over.
Right?
We got a sale.
Lakeisha, I have to wear some of the things that I've purchased. I keep piling stuff on. I'm looking at them, go, oh, that's so
I
cute.
know.
But I
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
ready to
be,
put some new stuff up there
I
in a
have to
minute.
be disciplined.
I know how that feels.
To be disciplined. But like I said, thank you, ladies, so much for joining us today and our
Absolutely.
viewing audience. We are so grateful for you all. We will never take you for granted. We appreciate you so much. We thank you for now. We're up to
Yeah.
22,000 subscribers on YouTube,
All
and
right.
we are excited
All
because
right.
we want to continue to bring you tools for everyday living. And you can
Yes.
catch us every Friday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on YouTube, Facebook. We're going to get that Instagram on there. We haven't gotten it yet, but we're going to get that Instagram and LinkedIn so that you all will be able to find us at any time. But you could always go back to YouTube and binge watch our shows. We've been on, oh my goodness, we're almost a year now.
Oh,
All
that's all right.
right.
Almost a year. So we're excited. And thank you all. And See you next Friday.